ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Common Man Show, coming to you from the inner sanctum sanctorum here in Austin, Texas. And folks, we are proudly brought to you by the Scoop in El Paso. That's right, the Scoop in El Paso, the online business directory. It is going to tell you, actually, let me put it to you this way. The Scoop in El Paso is El Paso's one-stop website to help you find out the what, when, and where of El Paso. The site is managed by El Pasoans for El Pasoans, and it's going to link you to businesses in El Paso, folks. We are very glad and very honored to be with you guys. We are back in Austin. We are very proud to be here again. As you guys remembered from last week, if you guys were listening to me on All Digital Radio, we were in El Paso. We went to go visit family there because it was that time where we needed to go visit. And so we went out, got to spend some great time with the family, spent some time with some friends as well, and we got to reintroduce ourselves or re-meet with with our sponsor, which is the Scoop in El Paso, which you saw the website there. And you've got to find them on Facebook. Do a search just type in the Scoop in El Paso. We're also going to be adding their link to their fan page on the Common Man Show fan page that we have on Facebook. So if you want to find us, you can find us on www.facebook.com/The Common Man Show. Obviously, you really don't have to put down www, but you can put in facebook.com/The Common Man Show. You'll be able to find us there, and you'll be able to find all the information that we have about us and about articles that we put on there as we put on Ustream here that you're watching. It is conservative talk from the common man perspective, and I kind of like saying it that way because, folks, I am a conservative person. I am a common man, if you will. I'm just like you and I, or just like you. I have no political aspirations. I have none of that stuff going on with me right now because I just don't. But, folks, we're very honored to have you guys here watching us, and we're gonna be moving these videos onto our different platforms and also the audio into our different platforms. So if you are able to, you'll be able to catch us on YouTube, and you'll be able to listen to us on such great locations such as iTunes and Stitcher Radio. If you go to Stitcher.com, you'll be able to find thousands, literally thousands of different programs at the touch of your fingertips. It's on your cell phone that you'll be able to pick up and just push a button or push a couple of buttons there and say, okay, I want this, and bam, you're going to find us there. And out of all those thousands of audio podcasts that you're going to hear, we're one of them. We are one of them, and we're very proud to be here. We're very proud to be there. Now, folks, we haven't been been on the air for a while, but we've been doing our programming on All Digital Radio. And I'm going to say, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be here on Ustream and rebroadcasting this program to the mass world out there, because a lot's been going on. We've been trying to keep tabs with what has been going on on the national level as well as the local level, and we're very. It's been an interesting time for us, if you will, at the national level as well locally. And we want to touch base on some of the items that are there. Now, one of the things that I did want to bring up is the fact that we have here in Austin. It's their motto is keep Austin weird, which is fine and dandy, okay, be whatever. But one of the items that comes up, or one of the things that you get to see a lot, if you've traveled in Austin, one of the things that you'll see a lot of is bicycle riders. I don't mean bike riders like the motorcycle riders. I mean bicycle riders like the pedal pushers. And that's fine and dandy. A lot of people are like, oh, well, we've got to save the environment, we've got to do this. And I've mentioned a few of the comments that people have said, and that's fine and dandy. Let's go ahead and save the environment. Let's be whatever we got to do. Okay, great. Fine and dandy. But one of the problems that I've been seeing lately in regards to the bike riders, and let me remind you guys when you guys were younger. Because I remember seeing kids. I didn't ride a bike till I was maybe 22, actually. One of the things that we were always taught, and one of the things that you'd always see, is people ride on the right-hand side of the lane, or right-hand side over by the curb, or they would ride on the sidewalk whenever they're going from one location to another. Now, in taking the classes, which I never took, but in taking some of the classes that my daughter even took, I can safely say that my daughter took one of those traffic safety classes that they did when we were living in Reno, and even watching the commercials when you were talking about safe bike riding. I remember the videos that they used to have coming from Los Angeles. Is this, they'd always say, right on the right-hand side of the lane, look, go with the flow of traffic, and blah, blah, blah. And it was all nice and pretty. But they never mentioned, hey, by the way, while you're at it, ride on the fast lane, going with the flow of traffic, especially when the speed limit is reading 40 miles per hour. Or ride in the slow lane, especially when the speed limit reads 35 miles an hour, and in both situations, you can't even get to that speed limit. And the talk that has been going on here in Texas is, and especially in this part of town, or this part of the state, is that if you're going to be riding a bike, and I mean bicycle, then fine, then pay your taxes. Let's go ahead and create something to go ahead and put down that you are using the roads in such a fashion that you will now start paying taxes to help upkeep the roads or to help build new pathways for bicycle riders to go through. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm like, look, if you're going to be using the roads and you want to be considered as a motor vehicle, which are the vehicles that are supposed to be on the lanes, then go ahead and pay a tax. Go ahead and go ahead and get a little bumper sticker or a little item, like a tag saying, hey, I'm paying taxes and everything else. And the argument that I've heard here locally is that, but guys, we're paying our taxes when we drive our car because we have vehicles. Well, that's fine and dandy. But when you're riding your bike, you're not using your car. You're using a two-wheeled mode of transportation, which you think is going to give you every right to go from one location to another, which is fine. Go one location to another. But at the same time, God damn it, pay the damn taxes on that for that bicycle, because not only are you impeding traffic, even though here in Austin it's okay if you can do it, and they can say, all right, we'll go ahead and help you out and blah blah blah. But if you're going to be impeding traffic and going below the speed limit, significantly below the speed limit, then you should go ahead and follow the rules of the road. Either follow the rules of the road, and if you're going to follow the rules of the road, then by all means start paying those damn taxes to go ahead and either help you build a new pathway so you can ride your bike from point A to point B, or be able to say, I have a right to be on the road. Because, my God, let me tell you a story. I was driving back here to the inner sanctum sanctorum, as I like to call it. I was driving my car. I wasn't riding a bike, but I was driving my car, and there's one guy behind me, and I'm looking at him through my rearview mirror. I'm in the fast lane, okay? I'm in the fast lane, and he's coming up behind me. Although we're not going to speed limit because we had just started moving, and then we had to slow down because there was a pedestrian crossing. But he's right behind me, thinking that he's a vehicle, and it doesn't work that way. Okay, last I checked, bicycles are modes of transportation, but they're not legal vehicles to be on the road. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, God, what the? And I'm thinking all these different words. And if you guys listen to me on Sunday on All Digital Radio, I'm coming up with a new word, with a new phrase that everybody knows and everybody loves, which is knucklehead. And if you guys want to know why I'm saying knucklehead, you're going to listen to Sunday's program, and you'll see why I'm calling certain people knuckleheads. Because this guy fit the criteria of being a knucklehead. And it was just, I'm like, get away. Just get off my back. Get off my bumper. I have my new sticker on my car from the Bumpers podcast. And I'm like, just don't touch it. Don't mess around with it. And then the guy decides to go. And I'll tell you what happened afterwards. The guy decided to go around me. And still in the lane, we were slowing down. He ends up going to the far right-hand lane where he's supposed to be. And then keeps on riding like nothing. And it's like, just don't even get on the center line. Don't get on the fast lane. Just stay where you're supposed to be at. Let the people on the right-hand side of the lane deal with you, and then go on your merry way. Or take the sidewalk and let everybody be happy so we can actually drive the speed limit like normal motor vehicle drivers like to do. Oh, God, it was just one of those moments where, you just have those days where you're like, just stop it. Just no. But that's my fun for the day, folks, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me about that part. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have some people comment about the bicycle riders, and that's fine and dandy, and I'm fine. I'm fine with that part. People are going to have their opinions, and I'm very happy that people are going to have their opinions. I have mine, and I have my mode that I can go ahead and vent my frustration. Now, let's go back to talk about what we like to talk about here, which is politics and the fun stuff that goes on in El Paso and in Central Texas, and not only in Central Texas, but across the United States. In El Paso, folks, you know, we've been kind of critical about City Council because some of the stuff that they're doing, because it's just not bright, if you will. I'm very critical about some of the stuff that they've done. And this goes back a while ago when we had the recall of the mayor. And prior to that, and the reason why he was recalled is because of City Council's decision to override a voter-approved position in regards to providing health benefits to unwed parents or unwed couples and God knows what else. But if you guys recall back in, I want to say 2009, you know, we had SB 1070 going on in Arizona, and a lot of people were enraged about this going on, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe Arizona's doing this to the minorities, and they're being racial profiling, and quién sabe qué más, and all this fun stuff. Okay, fine, it's their state. And the City Council for El Paso had, just to go and refresh your guys' memory, they had decided to ban any type of business between El Paso and Arizona, which kind of doesn't make a lot of sense because we get a lot of our electricity from Arizona at the Pavo Real plant that they have. But we're like, okay, and we're like, kind of explain that to us, buddy. And they're like, well, you know, we have that in existence. It's okay, but we're not going to do any other business. So we're not going to touch them. We're not going to do anything else because we don't agree with them. Los Angeles had that, even though they weren't supposed to be doing it. A few other cities decided to do this, and, you know, I think Boston, Chicago, and God knows what else, all these other cities were like, we're not going to interact with Arizona. And then, just recently, the City Council decided in their infinite wisdom to say, we're going to continue this ban. We don't want to have any type of interactions. We're not going to spend our taxpayer money on the state of Arizona. Well, flash forward to now, where we now have the mayor telling City Council, guys, I really want to go to Arizona. And they're like, well, why do you want to go to Arizona? What's going on? Well, there's a mayor's council going on, and there's going to be this big hoopla going on in Arizona, and I really want to attend because I really want to tell people what we really think about having trade between the United States and Mexico and quién sabe qué más and whatever. And it's split down the middle. Okay, City Council's half and half when they're saying, yeah, we want this, or we don't want this, that's fine and dandy. And the mayor gets to break the tie. Well, the mayor gets to say, hey, guess what? I'm going. And, you know, a lot of people, I've seen some of the comments on Facebook and elsewhere, and they're like, well, where's the hypocrisy in all this? You know, the City Council saying, oh, no, it's okay. You know, the people that approved it are saying, oh, no, it's okay. We can do this. It's all fine and dandy. Don't worry about it. We're okay. You know, because we really have to give that message across that we really love trade with Mexico and everything else. Here's a suggestion for you guys. If it's really that important, rescind the ban. Rescind the ban. Sorry, rescind the ban on doing trade or doing business with Arizona, because you are creating your own hypocrisy and saying, "Oh, it's okay. We're not going to be doing anything else except for just this one thing, and of course the electricity that we get from the state of Arizona." But that's okay. Everything else we're not going to interact with. If we look into the layers, I can imagine, folks, that if we look into the layers of what's going on within City Council and the operations that they have, I can almost guarantee you that we will find additional information or additional trade that's going on or business that's going on between the city of El Paso and some other city within the state of Arizona. And let's go back to something else that we want to talk that we can bring up. What about that baseball team that City Council approved on building a stadium for them? Wouldn't we be interacting in some sort with, I don't know, Arizona? Especially if we get the baseball team from Arizona that we had wanted to get originally. Now, keep in mind that we had tried to, or the Robert Hunt group had tried to, but the original group said no because they ended up getting a new lease on life in Arizona. But let's say, for example, we have another one that's out there. Now, I'm not really familiar with the baseball teams that are out there or the AAA baseball teams, but let's say we have another one from Arizona that says, hey, guess what? We're going to go over there because we know you're going to build a stadium based on city tax dollars. And we want to go over there and play because we think it's going to be it's going to be more beneficial for us and whatnot. And that's fine and dandy. Will we now be calling city council again hypocrites because they're building a stadium just for this team, which had business in Arizona? Will we be able to mock them and tell them, hey, guess what? Thanks for banishing your own group? Or will they be able to go to the Hunt group and say, by the way, sorry, but you can't pick an Arizona team, even though they're the ones that are buying the team or the rights to the team to bring them over here to El Paso. The city is funding for the stadium. So will they not be hypocrites at that point also? It'd be an interesting question that we're going to probably have to find out later on, which, of course, if we try to ask that question, they're going to, I can guarantee that the mayor, who I've talked to before, is going to kind of say, well, it's okay, let me get my guitar out, and then we can start using gospel to give you an answer why. And then they're going to say, well, we can override any decision. They're going to either he's going to start playing his guitar and start doing that, or he's going to start saying that. We can override that decision because it's a special circumstance. They're not really a business from Arizona, even though they came from Arizona, and we're not really doing anything with them because it's going to be part of another group. And, of course, we are because we're building the damn stadium for them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And, of course, the mayor had the option to pay his own way, which he should have then. If he was that adamant on going over there, then he probably should have done that. But, of course, he can't do that because he's deep in debt owing his attorneys with all the recall hearings or the recall court cases that he had to go through just to save his job for an additional 3 months. At least at this point right now. You gotta love city council. I gotta tell you, as I step back, now that I'm here in Austin, and I've mentioned before, I pay taxes in both cities. I pay taxes in both sides. But as I step back and look at the bigger picture, I'm like, what a bunch of knuckleheads. There's just, and I shouldn't say that to all of them. Not all of them are knuckleheads, okay? I like Carl Robinson. Carl Robinson, for all his issues that he's had, and when I mean his issues, I mean like his driver's license issue, and that's basically all the stuff I know about him. But you have other representatives, Susie Bird, Emma Costa, Ed Olguin's kind of okay, Steve Ortega, Ann Morgan Lilly. Some of them are just knuckleheads. Some of them are just absolutely knuckleheads. And we can also include Courtney Nyland because I'll put it to you this way. From my personal viewpoints, I've never seen someone that has flip-flopped so much in regards to saying, I care about you, but we're going to screw you over in some other fashion. And in case you want to know, do some research on the Aztec calendar or the Mayan calendar that's in El Paso. It's kind of an interesting piece, as well as the Los Lagartos. I think she had some critical impact on that part, but we'll keep tabs on them and we'll see what they're going to do because I just don't. I'll put it this way: if I was back in El Paso, I probably would sit down with my wife and say, "Look, I think that I need to run for city council." There's a guy in El Paso that I know right now by the name of Tierra o Muerte that has had some issues with the newspaper. But he's looking at running for city council, and I think he already filed his paperwork. And if he does, I hope he wins, because this guy's a no-nonsense type of guy. Now, he has some other issues that are going on, which are nothing related to what was going on with the newspaper, but he is an educated man. And because he's an educated man, he's probably making an educated decision as to whether or not he wants to run or whether or not he wants to stay in his current position that he's in, and his job that he has. But needless to say, we'll keep tabs on that part, and I'm curious to see what the mayor has to say. We're going to try to send out some messages to city council and see what's going on that end. Now let's move out a little bit further. Let's just move out a little bit further. Now we've got some stuff that we do want to talk about at the state level, but we're going to kind of save that a little bit for Sunday's program on All Digital Radio. There's some interesting stuff that's going on here in Central Texas that is affecting the state of Texas, but we're going to save that for Sunday. But let's go into something that we talked about last Sunday in regards to Penn State. Now, we've all heard about all the stuff that's going on, and we know that it's all bad, and a lot of the stuff that they did was not appropriate. And, of course, they got fined, $60 million that they're going to be paying within 5 years to help fund an organization or organizations that deal with children that have been victims of sexual assault, or victims of sexual predators. And, of course, they've lost some of their scholarships, and they can't show up to bowl appearances for about 4 years, I believe. And the question that comes up, and it's something that's kind of intriguing, you have to ask yourself, is it enough? And you're probably asking, well, what do you mean? Okay, well, let me put it to you this way. Did the NCAA do enough to punish Penn State? Because keep in mind that this has been going on for 14 years, and there's been a shroud or a cloud of secrecy in regards to what has been going on. And this question has been posed on several occasions and on several different locations. And you hear both sides of the story where they're saying, well, is it enough? Did they do more? Could they have done more? Could they have done whatever? And I had to sit down on Monday, and I was reading what was going on. I was listening to what was going on the radio. And I read a little bit more about what the decision was made by the NCAA. And one of the things that I think was pretty cool is that they have a right to go back and kick their asses later on, especially kick Penn State's ass once the whole court case goes on with the other individuals that were involved in the hiding of information. And you hear sports announcers or sports broadcasters say, oh my God, this is going to ruin Penn State for 10, 14 years. And you ask yourself, is that sufficient? Is that enough to go ahead and punish them for what was being done? Could the NCAA do more? And you have to keep in mind that they did not take them off of TV. They did not take Penn State off of television. So they're still able to get revenue for whatever they're doing on television when they come to playing games. And they didn't take away some of the endowment funds that they get. They didn't take away some of the other funding, or state funding, I believe, that they are supposed to be getting, and a few other things. So they're still making money. Now, $5 million a year or $12 million a year isn't nothing to sneeze at. It's actually pretty good money. But the question that comes up is saying, is that enough? And I'm going to say this. I don't think it is. I don't think that is enough to go ahead and punish them for that amount of time. They did stuff for 14 years, and they're only going to be affected technically for 5. So they're saying, okay, let's go ahead and cut the baby in half or less and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. And I apologize for the phone ringing right now. It's just too far away, and I'm not going to get up and go get it. But anyway, I would say no. Let's go ahead and punish them even more because of the fact that there is so much that they did that the NCAA could have done so much more because Penn State screwed up royally. And people are arguing, well, if you do this to Penn State, if you do this to the football team, then it's going to jeopardize the other sports. Well, who cares? Who cares? Here's my answer to that part. It doesn't matter. I can guarantee you, I'm not going to say probably, I can guarantee you that at least somebody else from within the other teams or from the other sports groups that were in Penn State probably knew something that was going on. Yet no one rose up and said, hey, we've got a problem. Why? Because they were worried about Sandusky. They were worried about the image. They were worried about Penn State and Joe Paterno. And if we were to go back and say, okay, who knew about it? And I'm pretty sure somebody's going to say, yeah, I knew something a little bit about it. I can almost guarantee you that somebody's going to say, yeah, I knew. There was something going on, and we probably should have said something, but we didn't, and blah, blah, blah. Then punish them all. Punish the whole school. And make it in such a way that the death penalty that they like to talk about when it comes to SMU is nothing compared to what they're doing now, because, as even the NCAA mentioned, this is something that has not occurred in any other place. So let's go ahead and send a message. Let's make a bigger message. Let's send a clearer message as to what's going on, because something is wrong here. And they should have punished them more. Instead of saying $60 million, let's go ahead and do it 100. Why not? Okay, they probably made as much money, if not more. And they could have even gone back, folks. Let me put it to you this way. They could have gone back those 14 years and say, okay, whatever money you made, you owe us, and you owe the school, or you owe whatever endowment group for what they did. They could have done that part, because I have heard of situations where they've punished them with the money that they were supposed to lose. They could have done that part. Now, are they waiting to see what's going to happen with the other two people that are still pending court cases? Maybe. Don't know. But we'll see how that goes on. But they should be at least honest and saying, look, let's go ahead and just screw these guys over right now, because they screwed a whole bunch of other people. And I'm going to say this to the parents, or to the family of Joe Paterno. Why the hell are you bugging about the whole statue? Why even worry about the statue? Your dad screwed up. Okay? It's not your statue. It belongs to the school. You should be happy that they kept the Joe Paterno name on one of the buildings. Just because, just be happy with that, because everything else they're taking his name off because of the fact that he screwed up. Just be done with it. Just say, okay, we don't agree, but we're going to go ahead and say, okay, fine. There's already emails out there, Paterno family, that that Joe Pa knew. Okay, he knew what was going on. So just admit the fact that somehow, Joe Paterno was allowing this federal crime to occur. And if it wasn't for his health, he would actually have been arrested. He would have been arrested, spending time in jail, and having whatever he allowed happen to, occurred to him. And I apologize for getting upset about that whole thing, but here's the reality of the situation. They knew. They knew what was going on. People defended him. People defended the school. And here's the kicker. Not a lot of people are complaining. Not a lot of people the people that originally said, oh my God, this never happens at Penn State. We're good people and blah, blah, blah. You don't hear them. All they're saying is, oh my God, I can't believe they took away so much money. Oh my God, I can't believe that they took away so many scholarships. That's the end of Penn State as we know it, because look at SMU, look at whatever. Just shut up. Just say, okay, you know what? They screwed up. Now what do we do to fix it? Now, to the credit of Coach Bryan, and I hope I'm saying his last name right. He's upset. He's obviously upset. They read the statements. Or they had the statements online talking about what was going on, and of course, he's not out to. The president and I think the current athletic director are saying, "Okay, yeah, we screwed up. I'm sorry, and this is a good way to go ahead and start, and we'll go ahead and fix whatever we're gonna do." And then of course you have Coach Bryan who's saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is going on. But we're gonna take it. We're gonna build up, and we're gonna do better." And keep in mind that part of the punishment is that it is allowing the students who are currently football players that are on scholarships, it gives them the right to leave and get out of there, okay? Because of all the stuff that was going on. Okay, fine, great, not a problem. That's all beautiful. But here's the kicker. We've had at least Coach Lane Kiffin from, I think, USC going, talking to one of the big players from Penn State, and I think a couple of other people have gone on to onto campus and saying, "Hey guys, we've got a school over here that didn't do what Penn State did, and we can treat you right. Not only treat you right here, but we can probably get you to a bowl game where you can show off your wares and show that you guys are the cream, or the cream of the crop, and that way you can do what you're going to do." And of course, the coach for Penn State is arguing, "Oh my God, to his credit, he's saying, okay, fine, we understand you're going to do this, but don't, at least tell me about it, that you're going to come onto campus, or please tell me you're going to talk to this person and say, hey, by the way, we're going to talk to whatever player." And he's upset that Coach Kiffin didn't do that. Who cares? Okay? Yeah, it's a nice courtesy. It's a nice thing to do. Let me put it to you that way. It is nice to say, okay, yeah, we're going to, we want to talk to this person, but they don't have to. Okay? It's made as a courtesy to you, but it's not necessary. Okay? You're still the new guy. You're still the new person on the block, and they're going to walk all over you until you show that you're capable of being the big dog. So in that case, it's like just buck up and say, okay, yeah, they're coming over here. We don't appreciate it, but hey, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna handle what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk to our guys over here, and hopefully they're gonna make whatever decision that they make, and we're gonna respect their decision, and hopefully nothing bad will happen to our group. And that's fine. Just leave it as that. Don't go complaining, saying, "Oh my God, they didn't talk to me. Oh my God, I can't believe they're gonna do this." And everybody's complaining about Lane Kiffin, about what he's doing. Big deal. Okay. He has a right to do that. And I heard on the radio today, they're saying, okay, is it morally ethical? Is it ethical for him to go over there without talking to the coach? Yeah, it is. In my opinion, it is, because the NCAA is giving him permission to. And the NCAA is saying, yeah, get your guys. They can decide whatever they're going to do. God, goodness, just some people's kids, I swear to God, some people's kids. Now, folks, we're going to cut this program short because we realize that there's some stuff going on with some of the systems, and we're going to fix a couple of items here because we need to do some stuff and take care of a couple of items, which is nothing major. If you guys remember on how this program has been since its previous inception and at another location, on Wednesdays, we would use Wednesdays as our day to rebuild and take care of a couple of things with the computer systems and tweak a couple of items here and there. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We've got a couple of items that we need to tweak to make sure that everything is going to be perfect for the following week. And if you guys are following me on Facebook on The Common Man Show, about a little over a week ago, we made a comment that we're working on a couple of items that is going to be affecting the way you see The Common Man Show and the way The Common Man Show is being broadcast, I guess, if you will. It's still in the works, okay? There's a couple of items we have to tweak, but keep an eye on The Common Man Show. Go to facebook.com/The Common Man Show, and you'll be able to see a little bit of what's going on. We're waiting to make this a big announcement that's going to be affecting several individuals. Okay, it is going to be affecting several individuals, including myself. But when you see what's going to happen, I think you're going to like what is going to occur, because I've seen some of the stuff that's going to occur, and I just got to say, I love it. I love what's going to happen, folks. I love it. Now, before we end any program, we have to do the ever popular Chata Award. And why do we do the ever popular Chata Award? Because there's sometimes, folks, a person or a group that do something or say something that is just so off the wall and just so wrong that they receive some type of backlash for what they're doing. And you sometimes have to say, dude, just shut the F up. And folks, what we like to do is present actually the Chata Award actually to a city. Yes, oddly enough, and this is going to go to the city government. And as we're scrolling in here, we have a young child who, by the name of Nathan Duzinski, and I hope I'm saying this wrong, and I hope I'm saying this right. I apologize. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm probably trashing his last name, but he's 13 years old. He's got his mom and his dad. Both of them are not doing well. Let's put it that way. Both mom and dad are on disability because one parent has epilepsy and the other one has multiple sclerosis, which can be pretty tragic. And you have young Nathan who wants to do something right, for the family. And you got kids that do that, and you got to applaud children that say, hey, it's great that you have children that are helping out their family and doing beautiful things, especially when they realize that there's something going on. And I've got stories, not of me, of course, but of other family members that I know that took that took great steps to help out the family whenever there was an issue. Now, here's what happened. The kid had been working on a couple of items. And the kid had been doing some work, trying to save up some money in the hopes of helping out, doing something really great. And here's what he did. He saved up enough money to earn like $1,500. And what he did was this, is that he bought a hot dog stand. And prior to him buying the hot dog stand, he went to the city council. Okay, he went to the city council office, and this is in Holland, Michigan. He went to City Hall and said, look, and the parents say, look, he wants to buy this. What does he need to do? Does he need to buy, because they thought, okay, you need to buy a permit to do this. And they're like, no, it's okay, don't worry about it. You're fine. You don't have to buy a permit because city code doesn't state this. And they said, okay, great. So, they confirmed that there was nothing else that they had to do except buy this hot dog stand, that he was going to go out there and spend his hard-earned money to buy the stand, buy the hot dogs, and do whatever he was going to do. And so he goes out there, and he's all ready, and he's all prepped up, and he's ready to go. The first day he goes out on the street, and he places his cart on the sidewalk to sell his hot dogs. And within minutes, there's a representative from the city tells him, hey, you can't be doing this. We're going to have to shut you down. And they said, why? He says, well, it turns out that you can't be at a certain location where you're going to be in competition with other businesses. And so he had to shut this down. He had to say, okay, great, how come no one told us this? And no one said anything. City council's like, or this people that he talked to in regard to the permits, they said, no, sorry, you can't do it. We can't do this. And so they ended up losing, or there was a potential that they were going to lose, at least $1,500 for what happened. Now, here's the cool part. It got to the news saying, hey, by the way, you can't be doing this because of whatever city ordinances that no one told them about. So a business in one of the business owners in Holland, in this town of Holland, Michigan, ended up buying the hot dogs and buying the stand and gave this guy $2,500, which isn't bad. It's a nice profit, okay? And you've got to apply, and it goes back. I'm going to circle back to something that we got mad about the president on, where they say, you didn't build this. You didn't build your business. Well, he built his business. He got the products needed. But, of course, city government told him, you're screwed. You can't do this. And you've got to applaud the business. I can't find the business on here. I think it's actually, yeah. It is Shoreline Container that bought the business from him and gave him a little extra spending cash. So that way he didn't get, lose money on what he did. And they were applauding him. And here's what they said, this is the quote that they got from the managers of this company. He's a real go-getter, and at that age, that's unusual. It's unusual that they can relate to adults like he does, and he has really caught our eye, so to speak. So this is coming from Carolyn Norman, who works with this company. So you've got to applaud this company, this Shoreline Container Company, and you've got to applaud Nathan for what he wanted to do. And we've got to say to City Council and to the representatives of the city that told him it's okay if you do this, and for not giving him the proper information because of something that he wanted to do worthwhile. Now, they may have not known the reason behind it, but he wanted to open up something to help out his family. So to the city representatives that screwed this kid over, we just like to present you this award of the Chata Award, and just learn your laws. I would tell you guys, just shut the F up. But in reality, we don't want you to shut up. We want you to learn your laws. That way you educate us and educate your citizens and your residents of this town on how to do something so that they can be better human beings and better productive citizens and help out. Because this guy was doing a great job. This guy was doing something phenomenal for his parents, which you don't see at that age. There's very few kids at that age that understand the capacity of what is going on. And the city, and well, with all their ordinances, and this lady, I think her name was Lisa or Ann, I think it was Ann, who screwed him out of information. Just, God damn it, just give him the right information. That way he can become a better person and learn what he needs to do. Because it's the right thing to do. And it's the absolute right thing to do to teach this young child, this young adult, on what it's like to follow the rules and follow what needs to be done so that he can help his family. Now, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here today. We're very glad and we're very honored to have you guys here with us. I'm very glad to be back here. We've got some exciting stuff, like I said before. We've got some exciting stuff coming on that we're hoping to tell you guys very soon as to what's going on. But once we do, you're going to be amazed at what's going to happen, folks. You're going to love it. When I heard about it, I loved it, and I'm like, sign me up. We're going to do this. Now, folks, we want to thank our sponsor. And if you guys get a chance, you want to go to the Scoop in El Paso. Go to thescoopinelpaso.com. It's the online business directory. It's El Paso's one-stop website to help you find the what, when, and where of El Paso. It is managed by El Pasoans for El Pasoans, and it links local businesses to savvy customers like you and events with eager patrons. Folks, you got to go take a look at what they're doing. I enjoy visiting that site on Facebook. They have got some phenomenal stuff that goes on, and I like their scoopisms that they do, where they give you words of wisdoms or an image that they were or item of interest that they find that just kind of gets you motivated for the day. And I'll put it to you this way: as I'm stopping at a red light on the way to work every morning, I turn on my phone and I look at what's on there, and I go to Facebook and I go to their page, not because I want to see what's going on over there, but I do want to see what's going on over there. Let me put it to you that way. But I like the stuff that they put out there because there's just some motivational items that just get me going. And being here, sometimes you need that little extra motivation just to go and get that engine just purring just a little bit more. But folks, get a chance to take a look at them. And let me remind you where you can find me. Go to facebook.com/The Common Man Show. Click on the like button. Tell me what you think. And by all means, be honest. Tell me where you think we should work on some stuff. If you like what we're saying, what we're posting on there, let me know. Click on the like button. I love seeing the like buttons being put on there. And if you don't agree with me, tell me why. I don't know. I'll give you my reasons as to why I post certain things, and we'll be happy to have a viable discussion. And it's always good to have that. It's always good to have a nice civil discourse, if you will. Folks, you can also find me on Twitter. Go to twitter.com/Gabriel Nila, or go to @Gabriel Nila if you're on there, and follow me there, and you can see what we post on there. And folks, last but not least, I want to thank a couple of people that have been really helpful. Obviously, I want to thank my wife and my daughter for their continued support here, for what we're doing here. We want to thank the guys over at the Scoop in El Paso. I don't mention them enough as to what they do. And of course, there's some people out in California and one guy in Virginia that have carried on the name of the Common Man Show to their friends. And I'll put it to you this way: they have their own podcast. They have phenomenal people that do great work over there. And if you listen to podcasts or listen to audio formats, you've got to take a look at some of the stuff that they're doing. And the guys that I want to thank Isaac and Ruben from the BS podcast. We also want to thank Michael Show, who I think we're going to be doing some very special stuff coming up pretty soon over at the Michael Show podcast. And we want to thank Mike Merrick over in Virginia. These other two groups are from California, and we have Mike Merrick from the Bumpus podcast out of Bumpus, Virginia. Who knew that there was a city called Bumpus? I mean, seriously, I told my boss that I showed a bumper sticker that I got from Mr. Merrick, and I hope I said his first name right. But Mr. Merrick, he gave me a bumper sticker, and I hope you like the picture that I sent you. I told him, I told her, I go, look, check this out, I got this, and she's looking at me, she's like, bump ass. what do you mean by bump ass? And I'm like, no, there's actually a city called Bumpus. And she's like, I had to correct her on the pronunciation. But if you guys get a chance, go to the bumpuspodcast.com. I like the guy. Let me just put it to you that way. But folks, we're going to wrap things up over here, and we want to thank you again for being with us here. We're going to be back on Sunday, where we're going to hope to have a show espectacular for you guys on All Digital Radio. We're going to be talking more politics than you guys can handle from me, okay? And then we're going to come back next week here on Ustream on this channel, where hopefully we should have some announcements coming up and make some final discussions as to what we're going to be doing. But folks, I want to thank you guys again for spending time with us here on Ustream and spending time on your mobile device through Stitcher Radio, through iTunes, and even on SoundCloud, folks. We want to thank you for taking time to listen to us and even watching this program, which you are going to be able to see on YouTube. We'll show you the links on the Common Man Show fan page. But folks, we're going to get out of here. We're going to take care of some stuff, make sure that the system works nice and pretty, and that I get to see that sunset coming down pretty soon. But folks, on behalf of the Scoop in El Paso, and on the behalf of me, Gabriel Nila, I want to thank you for spending time with us. I want to thank you again for watching this program and listening to this program. Without your support, we wouldn't be here at all. And folks, without much further ado, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, and I want to thank every single one of you guys and ladies for spending time with us here on the Common Man Show. I'm your host, Gabriel Nila. Thank you again for spending time with us, and we will see you guys very, very soon. You guys take care.